Welcome members and guests. You'll notice I was wearing a mask and I just took my mask off. I want to point out that we are still asking people to wear masks, as is the, thank you for that small but enthusiastic crowd. So please wear masks. I'm taking it off because I'm up here. I'm more than 6 feet away from people. And I think it's much easier for everyone to understand speakers who are not wearing masks. So welcome to everyone, members and guests. Thank you to Jeremy Harris, as always. Can we give Jeremy another round of applause? Today, he was playing the music of Antonio Carlos Jobim. Beautiful stuff. Thanks, Jeremy. A reminder, if you're Zooming here in the room, I don't see anybody doing it, but someone might be doing it. Mute your speaker and your microphone. Those of you who are on Zoom, please mute your microphone to avoid feedback loops and such. Those of you who are Zooming from home or the office, please use chat for questions, and we will attempt to ask your questions to our speaker when the time comes. I'd like to do quick guest introductions. Please come up to the microphone. And please bring your guest with you so we can see your guest.
Hi, President Steve. I'm Karen Fox, and this is my returning guest, Go Bar, who's a realtor at Keller Williams.
Welcome. Mike in the back, we are having a little bit of audio difficulties. I mean, you're probably already on top of that. Sure. Just 1 second. Go right ahead, Joe.
Hi, President Steve. My guest today is Ashley Pass. She's a PhD from Stanford in Materials Science and Engineering. She's recently retired from IBM, Hitachi, and Western Digital. She has attended our gala. She's been to the barbecue, and she's kayaked down the Guadalupe River with Carl Salas. Ashley Pass.
Ashley, welcome. I've also done the kayak on the river. We'll have to do it sometime. Hello, welcome.
Hi, President Steve. I'm Leah Schnorr, Darien High School. My guest today is Stephanie Walensky-Fair. She's a realtor with Coldwell Banker and a longtime friend and community volunteer.
Welcome, Stephanie. Thanks for coming. Nicholas.
Good afternoon, President Steve. Nicholas Adams, Classification Public Relations. I have 3 guests with me this afternoon, so bear with me, fellow Rotarians. The first is Sharon Byers, who's the newly minted publisher of the great Silicon Valley magazine. Please welcome Sharon.
Welcome, Sharon.
My second guest is general partner of Driven Capital, Silicon Valley's newest and hottest VC firm. Please welcome Mr. Nick Larson.
Welcome, Nick.
And last but certainly not least, we have a tech celebrity among us today, the creator of HDMI and Nick Larson's co-general partner at Driven Capital in Palo Alto. Please welcome Bill Eichen.
Welcome, Bill. Thank you, Nicholas. Morris.
Mr. President, Morris Chubb, designation fiduciary. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Gail Osborne. She is a San Jose native. She's retired from working with nonprofits. She's a Santa Clara County Senior Care Commissioner, and she's been an advocate for the unhoused for the last 30 years.
Well, welcome, Gail. Thanks for coming. Enjoy. Is that Mike?
Hello, President Steve. I have with me today Mike Anning. He's also a native of San Jose, currently living downtown, and he is the owner of Mosaic Mortgage Group. And there's another connection. I don't know if you got the picture or if it's loaded, or we're going to skip that.
Finish your introduction, and then I will apologize for skipping that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, anyway, we're all connected, Steve, because you were with us at Burning Man when you were doing your very important research for urban confluence.
Well, somebody has to do anatomical research, and I figured it should probably be me. And so Mike and I and Georgie and a few others were at Burning Man a couple years ago and had a wonderful time. So welcome, Mike Anning. But Mike, stay up for a moment. So all of you be thinking about Vic Corsilia, who's one of our members. His daughter Taryn is my girlfriend. And about a month ago, Vic was out in the rose garden and he tipped over and he broke. He had a compression fracture, has a compression fracture of L2. So he was laying there in the garden for an hour or so, trying to get help. And Mike lives about 3 doors down. And Mike rode in on a white horse and saved Vic and brought him back into the house. So Mike, thanks for that again. Joe Caliche, come on up. Joe is going to do a eulogy for his father, Adolf, who pronounced his name Caliche. So Joe and his dad pronounced their names differently, which I thought was fascinating. It's all yours, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. I realize that most of you would give anything to go to lunch with your dad every Wednesday for the last 14 years. So thank you, San Jose Rotary, for assisting me in being able to do that. Adolf left me a batch of notes to share with you, which we don't have time for. We have to get to our presenter, but he always prepared for the next guy. So he makes it easy for the next guy, and he made it easier for me. So I'm just going to call this Adolf's life in big days. So he was born one big day in this little house in the desert of Nevada. His father and uncle built the house, and one family, his cousins lived on one side of the house, and he and his sister Ada grew up on the other side of the house. There was no plumbing. He writes that they got their water from a well with a bucket and a rope. They chopped wood for cooking and heat, and it was a very simple life. Sometimes his trousers were too large, and sometimes his sweater were too small, but he was always a glass half full guy. Towards the end of high school, they moved to San Jose, and he finished at Lincoln High School, and then he got accepted at Santa Clara University in the mechanical engineering department. And he got called into the dean's office about the 3rd year, and Dean Sullivan said, "Adolf, what's the matter? You're flunking. You've got a D average and you're not doing well. Your grades are terrible." And they talked, and they found out that he had a little bit of an inferiority complex because all the other kids were really affluent. And the dean said, "But wait a minute, Adolf, you've got the leg up on these guys because you're under the hood of a tractor all weekend, or a car," because he had a little vehicle repair business in his garage. And so he knew the hands-on part of mechanical engineering, and they made some kind of a deal, and he ended up graduating in the Honor Society, first in his family to finish college. And you'll see in the upper left hand at the ceremony, there was a girl present. Her name's Rosemary, and they fell in love, and he got a job at Food Machinery on Coleman across from the airport. And he married her, and 2 Sundays ago was their 67th wedding anniversary. He loved angel food cakes, so the wedding cake was angel food, and he got more angel food on his anniversary. He traveled a lot, but he always scheduled the trips during the week so he could be home with the kids on the weekend. They had a family, my 2 brothers, John and Jim, and my sister, Mary. And in a few years, the boy that got called into the dean's office was the head of engineering at Food Machinery with 700 employees, engineers working for him. They sent him a few years later to Harvard Management School. And on that big day, he came back from management school, and on that big day, he was put in charge of the worldwide defense business. So now he had 12,000 employees worldwide working for him. And one big day, they had a big celebration. One of their products had done very well in the Persian Gulf War. So the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. sent a plane full of dignitaries to San Jose to have a celebration. And so he was in charge of introducing the Secretary of Defense to the generals and the local mayors and politicians to the Washington crowd. And he wore a necktie that's too short. All that notoriety, San Jose got to be a little bigger dot on the map, and he got his Titan page in the Business Journal. And then shortly after that, he retired, and he threw himself into charity work and service work, as well as helping to bring up his 9 grandchildren.
He joined the Rotary Club. He was immediately he joined the Paul Harris Society. He was the membership development chairman. And he loved to go with Gary Silver to Washington School to mentor the fifth graders. He termed out with 8 years as a regent at University of Santa Clara. He kept on paying the tuitions of underprivileged students so that they could go through the engineering program there. He was on the board of directors of the YMCA, the United Way, the Boy Scouts Council. He was a Knight of Malta with many of you. He's silently served food after Rotary in Wednesday evening. He went over to Martha's Kitchen and served food to the hungry. And he silently mentored some at-risk youth at Sacred Heart Nativity School. He got a couple of recognitions. The kid that got sent to the dean ended up getting the Distinguished Alumni Engineering Award, so that was a big day. He got the Boy Scouts of America Silver Beaver Award. He got a St. Ignatian Award at Santa Clara, and he's in the U.S. Army Hall of Fame, which has very few civilians. He was the Grand Marshal at his town's historical parade, and he took these two children at the bottom of the page under his wing. He's got their educations in his will and trust. So she's in Kenya in the middle there. Her name's Sharon, and he's known her for 6 years. He's got a binder of their letters that they wrote back and forth. And then he's watched this other fellow grow up. She wants to be a doctor, so he's got that taken care of. And he's watched this other fellow grow up. He's in India. I don't know what he wants to be. He looks like a tech executive to me, though. So Adolf's last Rotary meeting was right before the lockdown, and he did make it to his 90th birthday last summer, so here he is. And so Jeremy, get it. Thanks again, everybody.
So I unfairly, when I was talking to Joe before the meeting, I told him the stories about my father's, my mother's, and my brother's funerals where I couldn't talk and I couldn't breathe and I was crying uncontrollably. And then he kind of looked at me like, well, thanks for that, Steve. So wasn't Joe fabulous? Let's give him a round of applause. Adolf was an incredible man. Next up, Elizabeth Hale, would you come up? Come on up, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a new member, and continuing the tradition of some of the last few years, we're having the new members introduce themselves. So she's going to take a couple minutes and tell us who she is. Elizabeth.
Thank you, President Steve. Hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Hale. I just joined the Rotary in July of this year. So I'm going to take the next 2 minutes to tell you the interesting things about my life. So from the beginning, I'm an early immigrant. I immigrated to the United States with my family when I was 13 to Long Beach, Southern California. And fast forward, I'm currently an intellectual property attorney specializing in IPU, cross-border IP issues between United States and Asia, and in particular between the US in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and China. And in between, I had a couple other careers. I received my undergrad from UC Berkeley in mechanical engineering. Go Bears, yes. And specializing in aerospace engineering. And I also had a second degree at UC Berkeley in linguistics. So I'm bilingual in Mandarin Chinese and English. So I moved to downtown San Jose in 2009. So over the past decade or so, I've observed how the city has grown. And I think we're about to launch into the next stage with the coming of high-tech companies and building up of transportation infrastructure. And I've taken up a few city-related projects in the past. Most importantly is the Sister Cities program between San Jose and Japan's Okayama. And I also dedicated a good portion of my time serving first as a board member and now as president of the San Jose Downtown Residents Association. So we try to advocate on behalf of residents for better environment, better safety, public safety, and better transportation. So I'm very glad I'm here today. Through the Rotary, I will have this opportunity to meet more people in San Jose and in the greater Bay Area. So I look forward to opportunities to get to know some of you and to work with you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Atusa and Corey, if you're here, I'm going to postpone your introductions, if you don't mind. I've gotten behind on my agenda and I apologize. Scott Payne, you want to come up to the mobile mic and speak? Or come on up here, Scott.
Always like the stage. I'm Scott Payne. I'm the chairman of the Enterprise Leadership Conference. Randy Zeckman's right down here. He's co-chairman. If anybody else is on the ELC, Enterprise Leadership Conference committee, could you please stand up? Anybody? Take a look around. We have not done ELC for 2 years for obvious reasons, and we're very excited to do it again this next March. If you could go back after this meeting and look at your schedules, and if you could find time to take 3 days off in the middle of March next year and spend it with 96 high school juniors, you'll be inspired and you'll have a blast. Our committee works toward that event and we need help. We would like to have some more new blood on our committee. It's a big committee. That's just a few of them. Probably a lot of them are Zooming. But I'm here to ask for your help and come out and be part of our great committee. Thank you very much.
Everyone I know who's volunteered there says it's a life-changing experience. In fact, my daughter did it about 20 years ago, and it was also a life-changing experience for her. Let's try to have some fun right now. Roger Mylock, as he always says, Roger, where are you? Take some credit, Roger. Stand up for 1 second. Please. Thank you to Roger. And why am I thanking him? You're going to find out in a moment. Now you can sit down, Roger. Thank you. Actually, stand up again. Get your picture taken, please. So Roger every year donates 4 tickets to the 49ers. We've got 2 tickets for August 14th. That's this week. Oh, no, that's next week, isn't it? Next week, 49ers versus Chiefs, August 14th. And then 2 tickets for Niners versus Las Vegas Raiders, August 29th. Those games will both be in New Jersey. No, just kidding. They're going to be home games. I guess that wasn't very funny. Sorry about that. These seats are premium level seats. Roger assured me, really best seats in the house. There's no one sitting in front of you. Unobstructed view. The face value of the 4 tickets is $1,560. That's $390 each with 4 tickets. You have access to this restricted club bar where only 800 people can go in there. So there are no lines for drink and food and such. So face value, $1,560. Will someone give me $500? Come on. There's $500. Thank you. $700. Somebody? 700. This is going to be painful. Don't do this to me. I'm new. I have a fragile ego. What? Both games. Ticket through to both games. Yeah, 4 tickets. 700. Sean O'Kane. How about 850? Somebody, 850. 850 in the back. I can't tell who that is because of the mask. How about $1,000? Somebody give me $1,000. Come on, it's all for the foundation. 100% for the foundation minus my 20% fee for doing this auction. $1,000, someone? Anybody? Bert George, $1,000. Thank you, Bertie. Bert knows how sensitive my ego is. He knew that I might have a breakdown if he didn't do that. So thank you, Bertie. How about $1,200? Somebody? $1,200 in the back. Thank you. $1,400. Somebody? $1,400? $1,400. Anybody? $1,400. Thank you, Gary. $1,500. $1,500. Somebody? Bert, $1,500. How about somebody give me $1,750 and we're done? $1,750. Somebody? Bring it on. $1,750. $1,750. $1,750. Gary, $1,750. Tickets are yours. Thank you, Gary Giannetti. So you guys have me for at least another week. This is a medallion that Suzanne St. John Crane saw somewhere in Washington, D.C., and you probably can't really see it that well, but I thought it was quite beautiful. So we'll put it in the bulletin so you can see that. We're actually ahead of schedule now. So Atusa, would you like to come up? Atusa, are you here? Come on up. It's just going to take a minute. So we made a decision a few weeks ago that what we're calling the COVID cohort, these are people who joined during COVID when we were only having Zoom. And Fernando introduced them, but they never got to be introduced in person. So we're going to give them a minute to tell us a little stories about themselves. So I'm going to do my best on Atusa's last name, Zainali. Zainali. Atusa Zainali. Please welcome her.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for your warm welcoming. You know, you've been always so nice, kind, and welcoming towards me, and I do appreciate that. So it's an honor to be part of this amazing club and to, you know, to be surrounded by these amazing and wonderful people. And you know, because of COVID, I didn't have that much opportunity to get to know you, most of you, and you know, and now by having these in-person meetings, so I'm looking forward to know all of you and to get in all my best, you know, to the club. Well, I've been told that I'm supposed to talk a little bit about myself, and it's supposed not to be about my resume. So aside from all this boring stuff that, yeah, well, it's not boring, but the thing is that, yeah, I am an immigrant. I came here 10 years ago, and I used to be a lawyer back in Iran, my country of origin. So I studied over there. I got my PhD over there, and then I came here in 2008. I won the lottery, so I came to US, and well, but I didn't stay that much. Honestly, I just wanted to keep my green card, so I came here every 6 months, and I went back until I got married in 2011, and I came to San Jose, and I stayed here since then. So I went back to law school. I got my LLM, my PhD again, which is SJD for law. And now I am a lawyer, construction attorney. Thank you. And well, aside from that, I got some other licenses too, which if I want to mention that, it shows that I'm kind of lost. So I got all these different, you know, areas. But anyways, aside from that, I would say that, my life is divided in two parts, pre-kids and after kids. So the pre-kids was all these amazing experiences, exciting adventures, and all these kind of stuff. And after kids, well, it's just kids. So, which, I don't complain. So I kind of like it actually, but well, this is what it is. I have two amazing kids, a 9-year-old son, a 2.5-year-old daughter, which is so cute. Well, yeah, you see, I told you, after kids, it's, all that I have to say. Even when I'm supposed to talk about myself, all that I would say is talking about my kids. And yeah, that's it. And I'm so glad to be here and looking forward to know all of you. Thank you.
And Corey, are you here? Corey, we're gonna wait. Okay, forgive me. When you finally get up here, I'll give you about 30 minutes to tell your story. So with that, I invite my friend Steve Ellenberg to come up. Hello, it's Husa.
Sorry.
Steve's going to come up and introduce Russ Hancock, who also happens to be a friend of mine. Russ is really one of the finer people in our community. Any of you who know him will agree with that. And if you don't know Russ, get to know him. So with that, Steve Ellenberg.
Can everyone hear me okay? I'm so glad that there are more lawyers joining this club. I mean, I can't just say enough about it. Pretty soon it'll be 100%. Well, we're going to try and do something different today. So Russell Hancock is here via Zoom. So fingers crossed, everybody. We are certainly on a precipice. Are we coming out of COVID, moving forward, or are we returning to 2020, or are we somewhere in between? Today's hybrid meeting couldn't be more representative of that situation. And it's hard to conceive of a person better positioned to address our current predicament than the president and CEO of joint venture Silicon Valley, Russell Hancock. Joint venture, as you know, builds the framework for regional thought, analysis, and action by assembling Silicon Valley's leaders in business, government, academia, labor, the nonprofit sector to assess our challenges, reach consensus on the best strategies for response, and work on solutions together. Russell Hancock, a Harvard, Stanford, I'll leave that to your own opinion, trained political scientist, has led joint venture since 2003. During the pandemic, Russell pivoted joint venture to address the most important challenges facing our region, including food insecurity, economic sustainability, and with the assistance of a certain county supervisor, wireless access. Russell recently added the Building Back Better initiative to joint venture's portfolio. This initiative serves as the data-driven backbone and framework for coordination between more than 70 organizations across all sectors, focusing on an equitable economic recovery from the pandemic. It's my pleasure, hopefully this all works, to introduce live via Zoom, Russell Hancock. If you can hear me, Russ, can you unmute yourself? to let Russ know there's a team of technologists ascending to the back to try and figure this out.
So Steve, how's your day?
It was fine until just about 30 seconds ago. But better than During's right now. There are no good lawyer jokes. It wasn't that. That was Jay's term, right?
When you get lemons, you make lemonade. Corey Lambert, you're on a game. Come on up. Corey, or did you leave? Did Corey leave? She was she quit. She didn't leave. She quit.
She's already joined the Los Gatos Club.
That's right. Well, let's give John. Who'd like to ring the bell for $100? Somebody go. Come on, Sarah, come ring the bell for $100. Russ, we have not forgotten about you. The moment that this is working, you will be on screen. Sarah, and I don't want to limit you to $100, but we could, if $100 is what you want, it's good, but please take the mic.
Feel free to. So this Saturday evening, August 14th, at the San Jose Giants game, you will be welcomed by Mission Valley Chorus singing the Star Spangled Banner. So I would love to donate $100 to the foundation in honor of my chorus. Woo.
Way to go, Sarah. Who else has $100 burning a hole in your purse or wallet? Birdie Bird.
Okay. Gary, I need the Raider tickets. You can have the Kansas City tickets, but I need the Raider tickets. I'll give the club $1,000. I'll give them $1,000 if you give me those 2 tickets.
Way to go, Birdie. Thank you, Gary. Sean Cottle.
Thank you. I'd like to ring the bell for $100 because my daughter got her master's degree at UNC Chapel Hill in the spring, and she's got 3 more years to get her PhD in all things political science.
Thank you, Sean. Ringy dingy. Who else? Nicholas, bring it on.
Good afternoon again, Mr. President. That has a nice ring, President Steve, right? You like that, don't you? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you like that. $100 for my friend Sharon Byers, who I introduced earlier to the room, the new publisher of Silicon Valley Magazine, as she is on an amazing crusade to really localize the publication and its editorial content in a way that it never has before. So really excited about local journalism returning to Silicon Valley Magazine and that publication.
Thank you, Nicholas. John During, any progress, or should I continue with my shenanigans up here? Just put your thumb up if you want me to continue. Well, there's no thumb, so Jeffrey Morgan, go for it.
Well, Steve, I want to ring the bell for $100 because we've opened up Lee Avenue senior apartments and are almost fully leased on 64 households that will serve formerly homeless seniors.
Well done, Jeff. I was going to say, we'll just let the quiet discomfort get somebody to stand up. Fernando, please.
President Steve, $100 because I'm glad this is happening to you and not to
me. Mike Conniff.
President Steve, I'd like to ring the bell for $100 for my granddaughter Dahlia Aline. She lives in Tampa, Florida. She just turned 5. She's a beautiful little girl. She's born to my son Andrew and his wife, the Brazilian Amanda. So ring the bell, please.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mike. Corey, just wait for one moment. Anybody else want to go? Tim.
I'd like to ring the bell for $100. My youngest daughter, Kristen, is engaged. We had a nice engagement party last Sunday, and she's getting married in March in Monterey. And we're very excited for her.
Way to go, Tim. A reminder, I got negative feedback about my progressive ring the bell a few weeks ago. If you were here, you know it was pretty heavy. So I just wanted to remind everyone, we're going to do traditional ring the bell, and then periodically I'll do progressive for the people who are really hungry. So come on up, Corey. So please welcome Corey Lambert. She's going to tell a little bit about herself.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I am a local event planner. I work for Stewart Event Rentals, which is the West Coast company of the Arena Group. The Arena Group is a global event production company that does events on 6 different continents. The bulk of my portfolio ranges from backyard weddings to PGA tours. I'm an LA native. I transferred up here for work 5 years ago on a 2-year contract, but it turns out I really liked it. So I think I'm here to stay now. I'm a downtown San Jose resident, and nice to meet everyone.
She said she sent her resignation into Los Gatos already, so we're good. I am going to assume that we don't have Russ on Zoom yet. So anybody want to come up and tell a story? That'd be a no. Okay, I'm going to continue as if Russ will not be joining us on Zoom today. We will be having the barbecue on September 1st that you all probably know about, and there will be registration after the meeting in the lobby as you exit the building. And thanks to Russ Hancock for speaking today. Oh, I guess that card isn't quite right yet, is it? Forgive me for that. So if Russ is able to join us today, we're going to do an experiment, which is that when he's finished speaking at 1:15, he's going to stay for 15 extra minutes on Zoom to ask questions. If you in the room want to stay and ask Russ questions, you can ask questions on the microphone. Steve Ellenberg will manage it. If this doesn't work, we will invite Russ back soon, of course, to do this program. And we're also going to do other Zoom programs once we make the Zoom work, where we're going to have presentations on Zoom, and we're going to ask the guests to stay on for 15 extra minutes. And it will allow people on Zoom to ask extra questions, and also those of you in the room to ask questions afterwards. As you all know, if you've been in the club, that many speakers stay in the room. We're all allowed to go up and ask some questions afterwards. And sometimes those are the best questions that are asked. So that's our experiment. So I think I'm ready to give up on the program. John During, you want to put a thumb up or thumbs down? Should I give up and call it a day? John did this. I think we all, that's the universal sign for Zoom ain't working. But I want to say thanks to Russ Hancock. He will come back, but we're going to make a donation in Russ's name to Recovery Cafe. I know Russ loves Recovery Cafe, and I do too. So with that, sorry for the technical problems. We'll reconnoiter next week, and we'll be better and better. So thanks, and we'll see you next week.